Hi there.
Ah, oh my God, I'm like a lion. How are you?
I, I literally washed my hair this morning and I was like, yeah, I'm not putting makeup on. I'm just gonna like whatever. I'm having like a pamper day. So
Yeah, I'm having the most productive day ever because I couldn't sleep. So I've just got up and done all the shit
no,
I should
I
do.
took I took Finnegan last night. I was like, if I wake up one more time at 4 a.m., I'm actually gonna shoot myself.
Do you know what? I take that as well because I can go to sleep really easy, but I never stay asleep.
Yeah, everyone's had that since lockdown. It's because your whole routine's been like
Yeah.
shifted.
For the first couple of weeks, I was going to bed at like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was just
I
like,
mean,
you need to chill.
I pray to God as I age, I look as fucking good as you. It's actually not even normal.
You know, so
Like,
everyone in my family looks young, like everyone.
I'm telling you, that's what it is.
So my mum is Burmese, so I think, and my dad's English, so I think the Asian is the reason that I don't age.
That explains it.
But
Yeah.
my dad looks young as well, and he's English. So thanks, guys.
So I don't know what it is. I feel like no, I didn't bring water upstairs with me. No, it's fine. I'm not walking around with this live. It's just not gonna happen.
It'll be like a tour of cribs.
Like, hey, and I've cleaned my house this morning. Like, it's just gonna be my dog like lying on my bed.
I got my cats asleep behind me. Every live I've done so far. Yeah, these two are literally like. But every time I've done one of them's wanted to sit on my lap and tell everybody about it. So I'm like, guys, today we're going to be quiet. I've been up since 5 though, so they're a bit worn out, I think. Thank God.
I mean, Nala just wants to go for a walk, but she slept in my bed, so she should be like living her best life.
Yeah, the pets are loving it, aren't they? Because we're home all the time now.
I'm grateful I got a puppy before isolation. I'm not gonna lie.
I do know, because I live on my own. Without the cats, it would have been a lot lonelier.
Seriously, like, I mean, I got my friend during isolation. I'm not gonna lie, and that's been interesting. So, just Frankie's like a yoga teacher, so I feel like she's trying to like cure me of all my illnesses. She's like, "Oh, your chakra was really blocked here." I'm like, "Oh my God." Look at the stuff that she's made me buy. Walnut.
I was going to say, I saw that you doing a fruit fast or something, and I was like, that's...
It actually brought me back to prep. I was like, Frankie, I was like, I feel so hungry. This fruit, she's like, yeah, but it's unlimited amounts of fruit. I'm like, but you know what? It really helped. I'm not joking. Yeah. Skin flushed out, like, and my stomach was so much better afterwards. Although I did
break sometimes, doesn't it?
It was hard. The first 2 days were hard. After the third day, I was like, I could do another 2 days, but I was like, I'm not going to. 3 days is fine.
3 days is enough.
Yeah, I mean, I've got people mention like, you're doing it for weight loss. I'm like, no, it's unlimited fruit, so you could still put on weight doing that. Like,
yeah, I'd just be eating so many bananas because they're the only thing that's filling when it comes to fruit.
Certain fruits, honestly, there was like a protocol to this as well. Like, from certain families couldn't be put together. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Well, at least it's over.
Yeah, we're done now. We're eating cake.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming today. I think it's really interesting because obviously you have been through the bloody wars with your is it vestibular? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people like when I talk about it, I'm like, you know, that weird thing that's like a migraine, but no one really like doesn't know that I don't get headaches, but you know, it's like a thing. I feel like they just should rename it. It would probably save. It's like a brain disorder in a sense, like of your balance system. Which, yeah, who even knew that was?
I've been so impressed by how you still managed to keep up a health and fitness routine because I mean, obviously it's your job. So if you hadn't,
like that know me, like especially my clients that were training with me around the first year, like I just looked like a dead, because I was so spaced out and like I couldn't even see straight half the time that I looked vacant. And I think that, I mean, in hindsight, I probably still would have carried on training. But yeah, I was meant to be signed off for a year. I just didn't do it. I was like, there is no way I can physically afford to take a year off work because no one's going to pay me.
Yeah.
And if I did get paid, I think I would have just been, I was so depressed anyways that I think I actually would have been severely depressed, like even more than I was. But I think, it was a very like terrifying experience. People do see it now and they're like, I did go for a long time of not being able to do what I do now. And I think that is what people don't see. I'm like, just because I didn't vent it as much,
Yeah.
it got to the point where I was like, I can't talk about this on my Instagram that much, because my friends were like, you know, it's a fitness page, like you can't just be so depressing online. And I'm like, but this is what I'm going
my
through.
page. Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And it was really weird. Like you'll even see, like I deleted posts. Like it was really hard to look back on some of those posts, because I was, yeah, like I was really depressed. Like I'd never felt depression before. Like I'd lost parents and not felt depression. And that's a real thing. Like I was like suffocated by it. And I always say to people now, like with mental health and stuff, I'm like, I have such a bigger insight into mental health because I just didn't want to be here. Like I wasn't actually going to harm myself, but I was like, if someone could just put me to sleep for the next year, like I'd take a year out of my life. Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? I think anyone that's got anything wrong with them, whether that is like mental health or just any can't bear to live through, you just don't want to be here, because it's just like a second of it. And especially because I think, you know, and I don't think people talk about it. Like I really think it's like a taboo, like, oh, you can't be depressed, or you can't, it's a weird thing. It's like, oh, no one wants to hear about that because it's depressing.
I must say though, whenever I talk about my mental health, I get such a massive engagement with the people that follow me, because I suppose a lot of people, they are just waiting for someone to talk about it, right? So that they can talk about their story as well, because you're right, it's still quite taboo. I think you're meant to be positive. And me and my friends were talking this morning about toxic positivity. I've unfollowed some of I did a big clear out this morning of the kind of pages that, yeah, you're still here, don't worry. But some of them were quite toxically positive, where it's like, no matter what, you must be okay. And it's like, yeah, sure, but there is a journey before you're okay that you need to go through.
Like a very weird thing. It's like I've seen that during isolation where everyone's like, be productive, and it's like, just fuck off. Like
I tell you what, for the first month I was not productive. It's only in the last week, 2 weeks, that I've pulled my finger out and I've adjusted and I feel a lot happier. But I was struggling the first 4 weeks. Like, just, it's a long time to be on your own, you know, if you live on your own.
The fact of like, there's so much stuff that came with that, and I don't think anyone could relate to it, because it's like no one knows what life's going to be like, when life's going to go back to normal. And there is just and then there's the conspiracy theories. I mean, I
enjoy them.
I said to my brother, like, it's not that I don't believe in these theories, yeah, but what are you going to do about it? Let's say you figure out that the government did all this shit, then what? Or are you going to go fight the government? It's just like, you might as well just sit back and just focus like what you can control, because you can't control what you can't prove anyways. So it's like, but I've like unfollowed so many people on Instagram, because I'm just like, it's a bit of a facade. And I think for me, the one thing I said when I got ill, I was like, you know what, yes, it's a fitness page, but it's also a person. It's not a brand. I don't consider myself a brand. It's like, I'm a person. And I was like, you know, my client was like, oh, you know, if you want it to be a brand, you should be positive. You can't be posting so much about your illness. People don't want to know you for that. I'm like, well, I don't really give a shit. Because
I would rather know, even if it was a brand, I'm going to connect to someone that's got authenticity and integrity more, and shows the tough times as well, you know. I mean, we all go through it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think you've got to be very, I think it's come with age. Like it took me a long time to be okay with saying I was really depressed. Like you know, it's a very hard thing to turn around and say, because people are weird. People are like, but you're such a happy person. Like, were you really suicidal? It's like, yeah, I was. Like, I didn't want to be here. Like,
yeah,
it's not embarrassing, but it is still that thing where it is hard to admit I was this bad, like with any sort of mental health. So I think people, you know, even my brothers are like that. When if I talk about my parents, like, oh, this person got cancer, I don't hear it. It's a lot of it that they haven't dealt with themselves, like internally. And I only learned that through going to therapy. And honestly, I don't think I would have gone to therapy unless I'd hit such a pinnacle where I was like, okay, well, I can't talk to them about this. People, you almost feel like, you know, no one's going to believe that I'm this depressed. That's another thing. No one's actually believe that I'm this close to the edge, except like Sean was like, I don't think I would have got through it without him. I would just call him crying, like just, and also the illness brings on depression, which I also
it's a catch-22, isn't it? Like,
know that. And if honestly, when people, I mean, I get thousands of messages, like I can't even explain. Every week without fail, I'll get a message, and I always promise myself I will take the time to reply to someone, because so many people help me, like when I feel. And also it's like, it's more common than people think. I've had clients that have had it, and maybe not in the severity that I had it. You know, I had it since I was 12, but not bouts of it, like feeling a bit dizzy, feeling a bit weird, some headaches here.
I was going to ask, did it just come on, or was it quite gradual?
It felt odd when I was about 11, but I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think my mum took me to, like, well, after every doctor was like, she's fine. Like, I kept saying to people when I was 13, like, my brothers tell me that I would say, I don't feel like I'm here. I feel really spaced out. I don't feel like I'm here. I don't feel like I'm here. I would say it all the time. And my mum took me to a doctor, and he was like, oh, I think she's got temporal lobe epilepsy. And it got disregarded. And then they were like, she needs a therapist. It's anxiety. Because that will be the next thing. If you're feeling, oh, she must be anxious. And I was anxious, but that wasn't the cause.
Yeah.
As quickly as it came, it was there for about a year, not in, I mean, my doctor tells me it could have been severe. I remember feeling very off for a few years, but I was a kid, and you do it very differently as a child.
Yeah.
And then it went away for about 5 years, and then it came back when I was 19 again. Then I did get diagnosed, but because it was always quite, listen, I mean, I say it wasn't bad. I did feel it was bad at the time. It just wasn't as bad as it was this time.
Yeah.
Get diagnosed, but I didn't even know my diagnosis. Like, that's how little I paid attention to it. Because from the age of 19 to 29, I would probably count on two hands, like maybe 10 times that I had some funny turns. But that's a good 10 years of like living a pretty normal life, not being affected by it. I always say to people, don't underestimate, like, it was there, but I didn't know what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
I look back now, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, I remember going on holiday, coming on my period, because it's very hormonally linked, feeling quite dizzy on that holiday, like a bit off balance, but not knowing what it was. It just, oh, I don't have good balance. That's what's wrong with me. Like, it's
kind of becomes the new norm, doesn't it? When you constantly live with something for so long, it's only when it goes that you realize, oh shit, like that was bad. I was like that with my depression my whole 20s, and then only in my mid 30s did it start to like be okay. And then I was like, fuck, actually, do you know what, I was bad.
Yeah, you're like, shit,
I just didn't realize until I was over it.
But I think that's a growth thing as well. I think as you get older, you register things and you process really differently. Like, I mean, it's mad though, because I always say to people, like, I've dealt with so much shit. Like, you know, you lost your parents. I'm like, it just didn't affect me as bad as this. And that sounds mental. Like, I'll say it. But the reason being is losing my parents didn't disable me. Something that physically affects you. And when my parents were ill, my brother used to say to me, like, it's not you that this is happening to. Like, I remember, like, I couldn't be in these hospitals. There'd be people that are like my age with cancer, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I'd be crying. Like, I wouldn't be able to cope. And he's like, Amy, get out. Like, it's not you. Like pull yourself together. And I was like, and now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, it really wasn't happening to me. Like, and you have such a different hindsight to it that you're like, actually, it's very different when you're the one suffering with the problem. It's a completely different feeling when you're the one that can't drive or can't get out of bed, or I couldn't walk. I mean, like, Amy, you couldn't walk. And I'm like, I remember like walking out of my house and I had a panic attack, because it felt like, not that I take acid on a regular basis or anything, but it was like, people are like, what did it feel like? I'm like, okay. I'm like, imagine having a head cold and like putting a helmet on your head and then being high off your face on acid. And now imagine trying to walk around like that. And like, you can't see anything. It's like being absolutely paralytically drunk and on cocaine. Like, that's what it felt like. So I'd walk out.
What kind of like coping mechanisms did you have to lead a more normal life? Because obviously you had to still exist, right?
I think doctors are really shit in the sense that some of them are like, well, you can't die from it. Like, I met some that were like, I went to a therapist that was like, you know, you're just stressed. And I was like, I'm going to punch this guy in the face. Like, I just remember thinking, God, like, how bad if there are people out there that are really asking for help and not getting it. Like, auntie, who I'm not that close with, took me to a doctor, and I just remember sitting with this doctor and he was patronizing me. And you know, when you ever like feel like you sat at the doctor's office like, please help me. Like, I remember feeling like screaming it in my head. that is that's the realization I have to people that have depression. It is completely the same thing, and I think it's something that people need to fucking take seriously. Like, they're not going to reach out for help. I hate seeing that. Oh, you know, speak up. You're not going to speak up when you're mad. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't. You can't. It's a difficult thing when people say that, because I didn't feel like that, and I'm not someone that's even closed off.
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't live normally. It took a long time to figure out what was wrong with me, and it progressed slowly. I was
Yeah.
and I remember, like, I felt really weird, and I was like, oh. I was like, what's funny is this same client ended up getting the same diagnosis 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, how weird is that?
Yeah.
Mentor was like, yeah, I could have kind of told you that you had this, but like, people, you don't want to say that to someone.
Yeah.
And then people get freaked.
I'm the same about like mental health problems. Like, so I've had depression, I have anxiety, and I always am sitting on a fence just watching it play out. But it's not my place to say, you know, like, and all I can do is kind of communicate how I've dealt with it, or how, you know, things that have helped me, and see if they absorb it, until it gets to the point where it's crunch time, we have a conversation, and I'm like, look, I think this, but you got to make your own way through it, you know, and it's trial and error, and it's different for everyone. But yeah, I really do feel when I really see people struggling, I can't say anything to them because it's not fair, you know, like,
people, like, you know, when I tried telling my client this, like, I was like, listen, I really think this might be what's wrong with you, because you sound like you've had similar episodes like in the past, and like, I'm just saying, I feel like I could be a doctor, the amount of research I've done into this.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, but I don't want to be as bad as you. And I was like, you're not going to. That was the fear, that I was so ill.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't recover. I'm like, but I had episodes in the past where, like, it was months and I was fine. So I think the fear of that kind of freaked people out. But I don't think I did live a normal life for the first year. I just think it progressed very, like, you know, I'd feel dizzy for a few weeks, and then every week a new symptom was popping up. And I was, what the fuck is going on with me? And believe me, like, I lost a lot of friends, like, and I'm grateful that I'm not friends with those people anymore, because they just were very unsupportive. But they were like, well, you're fine 1 minute and you're not the next. And I was like, but because I was trying to live a normal life, like, you couldn't see it. Like,
you see people's character, don't you, in those times?
That is the realest thing I've ever heard. Like, I think I also had the biggest person that was there for me was probably Sean, and I had a whole new admiration for him, because a lot of people couldn't cope with that. Like, especially like long distance and flying over, and like his girlfriend would be in bed the entire 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not like, just like crying, not wanting to have sex, like, not wanting to do anything. Like, just being like shell of it, like. But it definitely makes me realize, and I always say to people when they're talking about marrying someone, I'm like, be with someone that can deal with your shit, man. I don't really fuck about someone that's here for the happy Amy. Like, I really don't.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, when my mom was ill, I always remember thinking, like, my dad tolerated so much shit, and they weren't even together. The guy that was just like, to me, it was just like a waste of space, because that's when you see how someone loves you. If they love you through your demons, if they can love you, and that's how it should be. It's not easy. This generation, everyone is like all here for the good time, and it's like, that's not a relationship.
Yeah.
It's the same with friends. You don't want friends. I don't want any. I'm sure I wasn't easy to deal with to my friends. My friend Jess sat at my house every weekend, like, what should we do inside this weekend, Amy? Should we bake? And sometimes I'd be sitting on the floor just lying down while they like baked, and like that's how. But those are the people that I look at now, and I'm like, God, like, I love those people. Like, I'm so happy those people were there for me, because they're rare. Like, do you know what I mean? They just are. The same with your 20s. Like, I'm sure there's people that just didn't get it, or didn't take time to understand what you were going through.
I mean, I don't think I really understood it. And I look back now, and even like relationships that I was in, I just wish I had known what I know now, you know, like, it would have been a much easier ride for that other person. Like, I'm actually seeing like one of my ex-boyfriends next week, just as friends. And I just like, so I've been thinking a lot about how I was in the relationship. I was a bloody nightmare, you know. When I look back, and I just think, how he stuck in there and stuck by me, and we're still friends, is like a testament to he's a great person. But I wish I could have repaid that, you know, by being a better girlfriend. But I truly did not understand what was going on with me. I just threw myself head first into competing, because it was control and discipline took up all my time, so I had no time to overthink or to worry or to dwell.
That's so with competing. And I said this to
Yeah.
Frankie. I look at it now and I'm like, I was like, Frankie, you see the same pattern with everyone on Instagram. Everyone competes, and then a couple of years after, they're all like on this body positivity of how they won't compete and what they. It's such a it's such a weird thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not a bad thing. Like maybe you needed competing at that time of your life because you had to have a focus. Like good for you. Like it's not a thing. Although I do wish someone would have told me about how fucked my hormones could have been during competing, or the backlash of like that you could like fuck your metabolism for a solid year. Like I think I even saw you post that because you're quite a petite girl.
Yeah.
You weren't big, but for you had got big. And I felt
after that first prep, I blew up. Like it was bad. My rebound was so bad. And now I don't have that because I prep a lot healthier. I've got a lot more knowledge. I have an evidence-based coach, which makes such a difference. But I'm also like very self-aware. Like if it starts to interfere with the things that are important to me, so my people and my relationships and my job, it's got to go. It's a hobby, you know. And coming at it from a different mental health standpoint, actually it's harder to diet down when you're coming from a happy place.
Yeah,
I think
about the fruit fast. Honestly, I was like, how did I do this for like?
Because you're not trying to escape something like you are when you're in a darker place, you know. That first prep was so easy for me, and actually my second one, because I wasn't very happy. So I was just throwing myself into prep. That was my control of my own little world. I had anxiety, so the weight was just dropping off me. And then the prep I did in 2018, the 3 shows, fucking hell, it was so hard because I was happy, you know. And you have to access a dark place to get that lean.
Right.
Yeah, to go through the suffering that you have to go through that last 6 weeks. I just didn't have that like resource to draw on, so I had to find a different motivation.
I also though people like I remember when I did that show, I think as well I was dating someone that was like very into fitness, and that was kind of not in a bad way, but that was all he was about. Like and fine, but that wasn't me. I had a life outside of it. And then obviously we were going through like a terrible like breakup, but like I was like, no, let's not break up until my show is over because I need to get through this show. And it's like I remember like I went for a run, and when I look back, I'm like, this is crazy. I was on 12. When I look back at the pictures, I'm like, I got lean so quick, like just because the fat wasn't dropping from a certain place. I mean, when I tell my clients that girls take steroids, they're like, what? They do. Like a woman shouldn't look like they've not got one dimple on their butt cheek. They shouldn't look smooth. Like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I think doing prep for me and getting down to that, I think I got so lean, I was like, I'm never going to get rid of this pocket of cellulite on my left butt cheek. And that's fine. Because if I had to fucking diet down to 1,200 calories and I still couldn't get rid of it, I am not going to spend my life trying. But for me, it wasn't a hobby. So it was more the fact of like, I wanted to do it. But I learned a lot for my own clients. But I remember like calling my coach at the time, and I remember saying to him, like, I was running and it was adrenal fatigue. Like I felt like my body, like I just couldn't even move. And he was like, your next show. I was like, my show's in a week. And what I really want to say was, fuck you. Like, you're the one that's like fucked my fats up and kept me on like 10 grams of fat for like 2 months, wondering why I've now got hormonal problems and my hair's coming out. And now you want to sit there and tell me, oh, you know what? Bail out on your show. I was like, oh my God. Like, and this is someone that had a PhD. Like, how can you even do that to someone? And it's one for a show. I was like, I wouldn't want to take that on. Like, you've got to be very knowledgeable and very careful with people, and it's hard. Like, I had loads of people off that. Oh, let me prep you. I was like, nah, like it's not really what I wanted. I'll send you to someone else.
There's only a few coaches that I think are really truly aware of how to coach a woman when it comes to hormones.
I was very aware. Yeah, this was a man. I honestly think men are just, even male trainers, like sometimes I see them and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, they've got no awareness of people, like even like things that I hear from clients about, and it's just like, you just shouldn't be training people, or there's just a certain person that you should only be training, and that's that. Like as in old school bodybuilders that only do chicken, broccoli and rice, and literally they don't have any structure to their training except we're going to pound your body as hard as it can go. There's recovery, there's no, like, I trained with my friend like last year in like Pump and Iron, which is the gym that I used to train at, and I'm like, I hate this session, it's got no structure to it. Like what even is this? Like you're just pounding yourself until you're like at your muscle. Like that's not how you're meant to train. Like but you know, my CrossFit coach last that was like, that's just how they think. It's like that's their thing. Like you know, it's like their mindset kind of thing. It's weird, but it works for them.
So what kind of changes have you had to make to be able to be active now?
I had to accept, I am the sort of person, and I feel like you're like this, so you will get this. Like, before I got ill, like, I did not stop. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, I would never call in sick at work. I would never, like, ever call. I'd have to be dying on the floor to be sick. So when I got ill, I was like really pushing through that. And I actually think, like, I remember my therapist said to me, she's like, do you ever think that the universe has done this to you to get you to stop? To get you to actually listen to your body? Because I did. And I look back now and I'm like, you know, it's very difficult to accept a limitation that you have. So the first year I was like, if I have to just go to the gym and do body weight, like, I mean, for the first 6 months, I probably should not have gone to the gym. I was so busy, like, I couldn't even see straight. But it was more a mental thing. It wasn't, oh, I think I'm going to lose muscle or I'm going to get, it was nothing to do with that. It was actually the fact that it made me, it was my thing. Like, it's the only thing that makes me feel happy. But yeah, like, I battled with it a lot with the limitation. It was only when I went to therapy, and I went for a few therapists and found someone who, as soon as I spoke to her, I was like, this is my person. No, don't give up on the first therapist you see. You're going to have to be resilient, because it's like finding a best friend. You've got to find someone.
Just got to click, haven't you? Like,
as soon as therapist, I just literally burst into tears, and I wanted someone to believe me, because I'd had a therapist before that just didn't believe what was wrong with me. And my doctor told me, like, you need to get someone that understands what's wrong with you. Like, you should come up to the hospital and use our therapist. And I was like, no, like, it's far away. And she just instantly was like, Amy, you need to accept your limitations. You have to accept where you are now. It took me about 6 months to a year to do that, to be fair, because I was like convinced that I'd recover. After 6 months of like still being like really bad, I was like, oh my God, this is not going to go away in like a couple of months. And that scared the living shit out of me, because I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't, like, the anxiety of like, oh my God, like, I can't drive. Like, I can't see the road. Like, I can't, you know, I couldn't drive for a solid year.
Yeah.
Like, and even then it was like, I mean, it's only like this year that I can like drive. It sounds mental, like it really does. But I think the biggest thing I say to people is just accept where you are now. Like, I don't have patience at all. It's not really my personality in the slightest to have patience. But
I know what you mean.
What you're going to do when you have something that you have to have patience.
Yeah.
There's fuck all you can do about it. I would, you know, drive to my friend's house for 30 minutes and that would wipe me out. I guess it's a bit like people that have chronic fatigue. Like, there's a lot of illnesses. I think for a long, long time I was like, I just want people to understand. I just want people to, like, I want the world to understand. And I had a point where I was like, that's not going to happen because it's not just my illness. It's everything. The world doesn't understand anything. It doesn't understand depression. So, and even my own family. Like, I went for a lot of things with my family where it was really hard. Like, I've got brothers and I love them, but they did not understand what was going on with me. They just didn't, like, and not like on purpose, but, you know, I sat at my brother's party and I drove there, and he, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like, the kids were like talking and my head is like exploding, like all the noise. When I look back, I'm like, it does sound quite migraine-y because the triggers are still very much the same. Yeah. Even if you don't get the headaches, like, I have got headaches. And you know, a lot of doctors have said to me, people's idea of a migraine is very off key. Like, there's two spectrums of it. So there's your common spectrum, and then there's the other spectrum, which of course I would be on this side. Yeah. Forget anything that's like normal.
Nothing bog standard.
Always me, I'm telling you, man, I'm that 1 in 10 person. But what she was saying to me is, you know, the pressure in your head and feeling like your head's going to explode is a migraine. Just because you're not in pain with it, it doesn't mean. And I think I always say to people, don't underestimate that that's, you know, not a migraine. So when I look back, I'm like, oh, I did get that a lot in the first year. I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. And the triggers were still the same, like lights. But you then have like the movement aspects because it's your balance. So things, training people, I think I was teaching classes and I had to quit, but I really tried. And it was, I remember just feeling so defeated that I'd like really set my goal to like do classes. And I was in such a good place before I got ill. Like, I was like, why is like God punishing me? I've just this breakup, I've met someone else, I'm happy. Like, I just felt like it was unfair, like you know, I've learnt my lessons, I've gone through prep, I'm not going to fuck my body up. And it was like, boom. And every doctor has actually said to me that prep was a big cause of why this happened for me, because
I've got friends that have got chronic illnesses that they truly believe come from prep.
100%.
Like, just how stressed your body is, the hormonal changes in your body.
You don't know what you've got going on. I mean, like, saying that I wouldn't have had migraine flare-ups. I would have. I was born with it. But maybe not to the degree that it happened, because it's not a normal thing to do that to your body.
Yeah.
Like, not like, I remember my twin brother, when I was prepping, he was like, dude, all the fucking like aspartame and fake jellies and sauces that you're using, like, that's so unhealthy. And I'm like, fuck off, I'm hungry. Like,
don't let him look on my Instagram at how much Monster is in my living room.
Oh yeah, those are all the triggers for migraine. Caffeine every day, aspartame, MSG, and I'm like, yeah, like my doctor was like, you're pretty much like throwing everything at yourself for someone with an underlying condition. So a lot of people that have got conditions from it, I'm sure they bloody did get it from it. But you know what? I never thought I'd say this ever in a million years, but I'm not glad it happened to me, but I am a better person because of it.
I think that a lot of people, they have something, so whatever it might be, even anxiety, the migraines, and they feel victimized, right? Because this happened to them. But you have to realize that if you're going to be a martyr and you're going to continue doing things that you know trigger you, obviously I've got certain triggers for my anxiety that I know what they are. If I keep putting myself in a position where they're there, I'm going to keep on having panic attacks. I'm going to keep on having anxiety attacks. Like, I got to the point where I didn't even want to leave the house. And that is the only time that I got help. It was that day. I didn't leave the house for 3 days, and I didn't even want to be here anymore. And it was just like, I can't live like this anymore. And I got so sick of my own bullshit. But the biggest key thing for my mindset is just knowing every single day, no matter how I feel, it's transient. You know, and even if you have got a long-term condition, of course it is going to keep happening, but not every day. Like you said, like, you have months without it happening, and it's just holding on to the thought and the light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it, of those days that you won't experience it.
I mean, I never really thought of myself as someone that would go on an online support group, but there I was 6 months into my illness on every fucking support group you could possibly think of. And it's why I made a YouTube video. I mean, I can't look back at it. It amazes me that 17,000 people have viewed this video. Like, what the hell? Like, it's Jesus, like, my bloody migraine videos get more views than any of my fitness videos. Like,
but that's because people are so desperate to connect with other people that experienced it and understand what they're going through, right?
More videos now about vestibular migraines that I'm like, good, thank God. Like, I can, you know, they used to call it floating women syndrome back in the day, and they called people crazy. They'd lock them up because they would be like, I mean, but I there were so many people that reached out to me, but I think the biggest thing about you saying, you know, you have your triggers. I have my triggers, but a lot of the times, like holidays, like I couldn't fly for a long, like when I flew to like see Sean, I was like, I have to get a first class ticket. And I was like, oh, you're saying bougie? I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I can't have a vertigo attack on the plane and be upright for 11 hours. And I'm angry. I was putting myself in like financial problems to get that ticket. And I'm like, people were like making a joke of it. Like, oh, I'm like, fuck you. Like, if you had this condition, and I just don't talk to those people anymore as much, because even if we're still friends, like, I'll never forget that. And like, I just
just remember watching your stories about you being able to do it and admitting, like, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do this X amount of time before, and just feeling so happy for you and so proud for you and of you. Well, I don't understand how your actual friends could, I just don't get it. But you know what, sometimes it highlights the deficiencies in that person, that they don't have the staying power, or they won't take the risks.
Even Sean was not great for the first, I mean, I give it to people, like, you're allowed 3 months, but you know what, if you care, go look online and listen to what other people are saying. Like, two people at work had it, and they were like, dude, like it's bad. Like, you know, anything that's invisible is really difficult for people to grasp. Because, I mean, I don't actually even think I looked healthy that year. Like, I got like under eye fillers because I looked tired all the time, and I've got no problem admitting that. I'm the first person to be like, yep, Botox filler, like, I'm all about that. Like,
I cannot wait for the lockdown to finish.
These lines, like, I can't. Like, someone just wear them.
I've just been like trying to smooth out my frown the whole time I'm in the house. Like,
you know, I think when I look at myself as a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old, I'm like, God, man, I'm so much more accepting and confident in myself. As like, I can admit these things and not give a shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably with you, like just being able to talk about it and be open is a growth in yourself.
Yeah.
I think people can't see what's invisible. So, you know, like I had Hindus that I couldn't go on, and people made a lot of like, you know, and I still try and cover up. I had a wedding that I went to last year, and that was a good year and a half in, and I had like this weird thing happen to me. It's like, you know, when before you're going to faint, where all the blood like rushes to your head. What's funny is a lot of things happened during that time that then became, oh, this is really familiar. I used to have this when I was a kid, like a flashback. I mean, not every day, but like I then realized I've had this my entire life. And then when I looked, like I was at a wedding, so there's movement, there's lights, there's music. I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm having a full-on attack at this wedding.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. You know, I sat in the toilet and I was kind of at a place where I just didn't feel like anyone at that wedding would really understand. And I just kind of cried a little bit. And like I called like Sean, and he was like, go home. Like, you're not going to be able to drive home, because once your migraine starts coming full blown and you can't see the road, how will you get home? And it was the first time I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. I need to leave. Whereas before, I'd be so like, you know, they're not going to believe me. They're going to hate me. They're like, and I got over that. I was like, you know what? If you don't believe me, you can just fuck off. I stopped caring about losing people. And I think that was the best thing for me, because I was like, you know what? I don't care. Like, family, friends, I really don't care. If you're not going to believe me and you're not actually, you're going to, you know, think that someone like me that's dealt with more shit than most people, believe you me, I wouldn't over exaggerate. I mean, my clients were amazing. I can't even explain how amazing my clients were. Like, they were just like, because they know I'd never take a day off sick. I think I took 10 days off sick in the whole year that I was really bad, which is saying something, because there was a good, like, you know, but I think if I didn't have a job like I did, like if I wasn't working from home, and if I didn't have a job where I could train 3 people, take a break and go back, I wouldn't have. So when people saying, oh, I had to go into the city, like, there's no way. I couldn't get on a train or walk around central London. I was like, no, you'd have to give up work. But then you'd be in a position where you'd get paid. Do you know what I mean? Because you'd be employed, hopefully, by a company. But I was so grateful that I was self-employed, because I could my hours. I would work and then go to bed. Like, that's what I would do. But I always say to people, it helped me. Talking about it helped me, and being around my clients helped me, because if you try and keep some sort of normal life, then it helps your depression.
I find myself always just telling people I suffer from anxiety from day one, you know, especially if I'm dating. And some people can be a bit taken aback, like it's such a personal thing. And I was like, no, but you need to understand why I behave the way I do sometimes. Because to me, I'm just being me. But that doesn't mean that my behaviour is acceptable sometimes, or not a little bit odd, or just gives them a greater understanding, you know, of, okay, that's why she reacted that way to this kind of thing.
I know my friend about lockdown, I'm like, dude, all these people that are breaking up with people, I was like, I can honestly say from my own experience, like, relationships are fucking hard, number one. And number two, everyone thinks that everyone's so, like, disposable. It's like, you can't keep replacing people. Like, you have to actually, my mum always used to say, like, you know what, everyone's got their bullshit, everyone's a bit fucked up, just decide what level of fucked up you want to deal with. They're well fucked up. I don't look at any of my siblings like they're easy to be married to. But I think the right person, and you tell them on a date, you know, I've got anxiety, if they're the right person, they're going to sit there and be like, you know what, I actually have this, and like, you're just going to connect. And if that
I get this thing, right, where if I'm going to date, especially if I already know them, if I'm going on a date, I'll be ready, I'll be dressed, I'll get so anxious, I cancel at like 9. You know, we're meant to leave, we're probably meant to meet at 9:30, and I'm like, I can't come. And then I will start to tell people, like, if I try and cancel, don't let me, because I get stressed and I get really anxious. So my anxiety is social, and they will always know then, instead of like, oh, she's not interested. And it's like, no, it's because I am interested. I'm freaking out. And I've literally been laying on my bed, all my makeup done, fully dressed, like, I can't come. You know, like, and some of them, if they don't know why, they're just going to be like, oh, well, as you said, disposable, on to the next one. Whereas some guys are so cute. I remember doing it to this guy. I cancelled the Saturday night. I know him. And he said, right, do you know what? Tomorrow, lunchtime, we're going to go to the gym together, and we're going to train, and then we're going to get in the spa afterwards. And we just had a jacuzzi. And then he went off and had lunch with his family. And I was like, that was perfect, because there was no pressure. It was really something I'm comfortable doing, so I'm always training, right? And then just got to chill out and go in the jacuzzi. But I wore bloody black eyeliner and mascara, and it was literally like Kiss. And so don't do that, guys. But you're on a date, so you don't have no makeup.
Everyone does FaceTime dating. Wait, that should be a thing. I said this to my best friend. I was like, because she's like dating, and I was like, that is the best thing I've ever heard. No one wants to waste their time getting all ready for some arsehole. If we do a FaceTime date, then I can decide if like you're worth my time investing to like go on a date. Brilliant,
I hope that the lockdown does make people interact differently
100%.
on the dating scene, and just in general, you know, like.
Anyways, my friend's nuts. She's like, I don't go on a date with someone until I FaceTime them and heard a voice note from them. I don't want to go on a date with someone with some fucked up voice. And I'm like, what?
I'm a voice noter.
I'm like, she's like, I think I heard her on the phone, so I'll be like, do you sound like a rude boy? Send me a voice note. Or like, she'll be like, I can't date anyone with an accent. No, honestly, my friend, like, she is literally nuts. So I'm just like, I love you. Like,
you gotta live vicariously through her.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, you are so funny. But no, I think, but I also felt like that. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, even being ill, I was like, how's someone going to accept this about me? Like, what was if I tell them? I used to have that a lot with my parents, like, and I couldn't tell people that my parents had died, or I'd do something really fucked up. Like, I remember telling some guy, he was like, oh, well, like, where's your mum? I was like, oh, she passed away. I'm laughing because I don't know how else to take it. He's like, oh, wait, Dad. I'm like, yeah, I just don't really see my dad. I just didn't have the fucking heart to tell him that both my, oh, look, Sam's in the room. You know I'm talking about you. No, like, I literally didn't have the heart to like be like, yeah, my dad died too. So I'd lie, and then he went on my Instagram and saw that I'd posted. I'm like, how the fuck do you get out of this? Like, I've just lied. And I was like, when I went to therapy, my friend was like, it's your insecurity. Because I didn't want someone to look at me like a victim. And I didn't want someone to like feel like, oh, she must be fucked up. And I'm like, I am fucked up, but I'm relatively well put together fucked up.
Yeah.
So like, I think I've coped quite well. But it was like, and I think as you get older, you're like, you know what? This is what's wrong with me. I have this, this, and this. And if you can't deal with it, jog on. Like, and it's a self-worth thing, which is what I always say to my clients, like, which is why I love training it. It does build up people's self-worth. Like, you have to know your worth. And if someone can't tolerate certain things about you, they can fuck off. Like, it's just how I really believe it should be. And I know it's a hard place to be like that, but I do believe that. Because as soon as you stop believing that, you're already setting yourself up for something.
Yeah.
So like, even with you and telling someone, you know, telling someone that you've got depression and anxiety is hard. People like, imagine if like with a girl, you go on a date with a guy, and I reckon like it's way higher prevalent in guys, whether they realise it or not. Most guys I've met have got anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Like,
I end up with every depressed man in London. And I'm like, is there something here? Is there anyone that's not depressed?
No, but there isn't. No,
London's a really difficult place for mental health, I think.
I think everyone's a bit messed up. Like, I think about every guy I've ever dated, and I'm like, watch them just be watching this live as well. Like, no, but like, every guy that I've dated has for sure had some severe issues going on. But like, it's not like I haven't. I'm just if you're looking for someone that hasn't got issues, then you're probably going to be
looking forever.
Yeah, you're going to be waiting. And the older you get, the more issues you come with. You just come with more baggage, women and so it's like,
and more just like take it or leave it. They're all my bags over there.
I mean, like, because I always used to date the guys. They're like, oh, it was exciting, and like they were a bit like, or like I like full on just dated like my ex because he had a six-pack, and I was like, yeah, this is the sort of person I want to date. We actually had nothing in common, and I think he would say that. Like,
oh, I've been there.
But you then realise that I was like, you actually just need to marry someone that's just your best friend. Like, she's going to get boring. Like, everything gets boring. Sex gets boring. Everything. And someone that you can just vibe with, like your best girlfriend, is someone to marry, because that's the person that will probably just accept you for you, and you're just, you know, flow through life.
I just want to spend the rest of my life laughing. You know what I mean? I need that person who wants to do that too.
Not going to lie. It might. I mean, what's really funny is I was speaking to like a old friend like back in the day, and he was like, you don't really have a type, do you? And I was like, well, I used to. He was like, yeah, you've dated like different colors, races, like you're just going through the whole rainbow. And I was like, I would probably say as a kid I had a type, but I think as I got older I just started looking at people's souls and their that sounds so cheesy, but I saw very much. It's not that I wasn't attractive, but their soul became attractive to me. Yeah. So all of a sudden, it's like, I don't have a type. I'm like, I could fall in love with anyone. It really just depends on how you present to me.
Yeah, for sure.
To say that. But like, that's why you'll look at my track record of people that I've dated and they really don't look alike, because for whatever reason I fell for them as a person.
Yeah.
Because people get unattractive anyways. People that are good looking, like, I swear you could date like...
When they're not a good person, that's it for me. You got to have integrity. You got to have strong values, because that's what's important to me. And it can make someone that... My sisters are literally like, he looks like he's got Down syndrome. And I'm like, he's so hot. And they're like, literally not hot. And I'm like, so hot. But it's because his personality to me was hot, you know?
Guys, they're pretty hot. Like, what are you talking about? I've seen, like, you have a pretty hot track record of boyfriends.
Yeah, I've not done too badly in the last few years.
You get on Instagram, they haven't made the cut.
So we've only got 3 minutes left and then it's going to cut us off. So do you have any like final tips or tricks or words of wisdom for anyone that is like just trying to be fit and healthy whilst dealing with something like that?
The biggest tip I would ever give to myself is, it sounds so cliche, but like, try to just be patient with yourself. Keep a diary to know that you're making progress, because the progress is going to be so like up and down. You're going to feel like every day is Groundhog Day. And also get help. Go see a counsellor. Like, and if you have a shit doctor, leave that doctor and go to another doctor. Like, go to a doctor that understands. Pay the money. Go private. And like, get a loan out to do that if you need to. Like, that, those are things that I really stress to people. The NHS with this kind of thing were not great. Like, I'm not, God forbid anyone says anything bad about the NHS right now, but when it came to this, they weren't. And I actually got a lot better treatment. So I'd say definitely like pay to have a good treatment and talk to people. And anyone in your life that isn't there for you, like, don't be scared to cut them off, because they're probably not going to benefit you. But, like, just do what you can when you can and keep going. Even if
be kind to yourself, right?
It's so cliche, but the leaving message. You can't. No, but it's true. It is true. But thank you so much. This has been so fun.
Thank you. I know. I've got a train now, and I'm like,
I've got a live tomorrow. Somehow I signed myself up for these 6 lives. Honestly, I've never been in such good shape from not lifting weights. It's mental.
I've got to do a live HIIT workout on Monday morning with Kerry Sexton. I'm going to die. I don't do HIIT. It's at 9 a.m. I told her no jumping lunges.
People need to I give teachers more credit now. That is...
It's hard, right?
My friend's like, why are you burning so many more calories? I'm like, try screaming exercises while you're doing them. Tell me if you don't burn more calories.
I've just realised it's not going to turn off at 1, because we started at 10 past.
Hey.
How are you doing? Yeah, because usually it's like the countdown is on now, and I'm like, huh? Oh yeah, we started late.
Man, because they keep changing. Like, you can't even save stories anymore. Like,
I know.
What is that about?
I know, it's crazy. And I don't change things when I'm in a lockdown, okay? I'm already fragile enough. I'm just bedding down into normality. I don't need changes on social media.
I also have said to people, like, it's funny, I feel like 50% of my followers now are probably migraine sufferers, but I've said to people, like, that I only follow people now on Instagram that I relate to.
Yeah, same.
There's just no point. Like, I can't follow girls that, listen, I love a great selfie as much as the next person, but if you don't show a dimple or your face without makeup, I can't follow you. I have a niece, and I don't want my niece like thinking that that's normal, because it's not normal.
Someone sent me a message a couple of weeks ago saying, you really do look rough on your Instagram sometimes, you should wear makeup. And I'm like, I usually tend to speak on Instagram first thing in the morning or last thing at night. I ain't got makeup on.
Sorry,
and also I don't mind looking rough.
I had someone tell me that I shouldn't swear and it's really unladylike. And I was
yeah, me too.
I don't give a shit.
And you know what I said about that?
All the time, like,
Fuck them.
You know, see you next Tuesday is my favourite word, just because I find it funny. And sometimes there is no other word but that word to describe someone. It's just, there's not.
I just think that you be yourself, genuine, authentic, with integrity. You will attract like-minded people. You're like magnets, right? And you're all the same. And there's just an amazing sense of acceptance as well. And they don't have to be your friends, right? I'm just talking about followers as well. And then the energy between the engagement between me and the people that I don't even know that follow me, it's just so like peaceful, if you know what I mean. Because I'm not forcing anything.
No, but we're a bit older. I feel like we're living in a world where, like, it sounds bad. I've seen so many Instagram models do lives, and I'm like, you're not a trainer. You don't even know what you're doing. Like, how? And they're getting, like, the most ridiculous engagement. And I'm like, God, like, we really are living in a world where if I just walk around in a thong on my Instagram, I'll just pipe up my followers. But no one actually gives a shit.
Yeah.
Care about their progress, or you're actually watching their form, because it's just not important anymore. And I'm like, that makes me a bit sad, and it put me off Instagram for a really long time. That I just, like, if it wasn't my job, I probably wouldn't have one. Like, I like the fact that I can voice my opinions and I can help people, but I do find it very infuriating that there's just such a, like, weird smoke and mirror thing to it, where it's like people that gain success are not necessarily people that I think deserve that success.
Yeah.
They don't give it. They just are very money orientated, or they don't actually care about. I think that's why Joe Wicks has done so well, because you can tell he gives a shit. Like, saying that, you know, there's certain things that he said that, you know, people are always going to throw shade at him for, but you can tell he's a genuinely nice. I used to follow him when he didn't have any followers. He used to ride around and training people. I'm not joking. Like, when he literally had no followers, like, he always, you know, you can just tell that kind of person. But the younger generation are like, oh my God, yeah, look at her ass. Yeah, she's naked all the time. I want to follow her. She knows what she's doing. It's like, what?
The OnlyFans era.
Oh no, see, I can't even hate on it. Like, there are some people buying houses outright at 25 on an OnlyFans account.
I know. When I found out how much some of those girls make, I was like, can I jeopardize my job for this? No.
I'm quite open like that. Like, I don't, like, I'm not cool with that myself, but I'm like, babe, like, if you want to do that, like, you know, I think one of my friends said her friend's a stripper and she's got 2 flats and she's like 26. I can't even hate it. Like,
I just hope that those girls are eyes wide open. Like, you do you is my entire motto. Like, I'm really not throwing any shade, but are you going to regret it later on? You know, you got to think long term, not just short term. But as you said, if they're buying a house and not really having to do much, good luck to them, right?
I mean, I was thinking on Lad Bible about this webcam girl and I was just like, that's just crazy. And I was like, what else can you do to make that much money?
It's true, right?
Think of things. I'm like, is there anything where I just don't have to compromise my self-respect to make that sort of money? I was like,
it's definitely an age thing, and I'm very glad that OnlyFans was not around when I was that young, because
I had on Instagram very well. People always, like, when I tell people that, I was like, firstly, I was a seriously ugly teenager, and I was very insecure.
Mate, have you seen what I looked like at school with those glasses and those teeth?
I know.
I had to have my teeth shaved down.
Babe, I didn't get braces till I was 22.
I got mine at 22 as well.
I didn't think it was okay to. My teeth were so bent that when these teeth moved, there was a hole from where my bent tooth had been sitting across. I'm like, what? To my parents, you didn't think that was, like, big enough for you to get my teeth?
Yeah. I didn't even start to look like this until mid-30s. Like, I still looked like a potato in my early 30s, and all of a sudden I just lost all of the fat in my face and I had cheekbones all of a sudden. I was just like,
late developer. My like, boyfriend at 22 said that to me. I got really offended. I was like, what are you trying to say? I don't look good now.
Well, we're funny though, because we were ugly.
I think if you're ugly as a kid, you don't have this big head, because you will always see yourself as this dorky looking person.
Yeah.
Like I literally, and I have 4 brothers, I always feel like a bit of a boy. Like, all my friends are guys. Like, guys are just, I mean, I've never had an argument with my 2 best friends that are guys in my entire life. That speaks realms.
Yeah.
Girls, and I cannot say the same for that. So I think there's obviously, but it's true. I think of myself as a boy, and my brother's like, you know, you have an arse now and boobs. Like, you're not a boy. I'm like, yeah, I know, but, like, sometimes I just think I'm a lad. It's probably helped me in my dating game, to be fair, because I think like a bloke. Like, I'm quite like a tomboy. Yeah, it's a good thing. I say to my, like, girls that, like, going through boy problems, I'm like, you needed some brothers in your life, because you're so naive, man. You needed, like, some proper brothers to just, like, put you on the straight and narrow of men. But anyways,
yeah, me. Well, you're doing all right on the love front. Me, not so much. But anyway,
been an up and down road, man. But I feel like I can honestly say that I have had some pretty good boyfriends. Like, I think I've had some really good guys, and I'm glad that my earlier experience of men was quite nice, because that sets the pay for what you're willing to accept.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely influenced how I am as a person and made me a better person.
Oh yeah, sure. 100%. But there for, like, the younger generation, like, when I train younger clients and they tell me things, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I come across like an old person, but I'm like
I just think surely there's men out there that are getting sick of it too and just want to go back to a bit more of a traditional
I'd like to think so.
model of dating one person.
The thing is like I do, and I think culture plays a bit of that. Like I've said this to my friend, like I do think like I'm around a lot of Greeks and I'm Jewish. Like
yeah,
I do think like that, like Greeks and Jewish guys care about this, especially Greeks. Like they care about that sort of thing. They don't want a woman that's been around. They don't.
Yeah.
I don't care what generation you're living in. They care about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Argument with my friend, who's English, I'm like, you are delusional. Like Greek guys would care about. I was like, maybe you need to date some people with some culture, because they're people with a bit of culture, like maybe like on your mum's side, like they have their like, so a lot of their traditions all revolve around that whole self-respect era where you're like, so if you date someone like that, they do have those deep-rooted kind of, you know, values.
Well, so, I pray for everyone after we come out of lockdown that people are going to be more generous with their time and attention and more giving. They
said you can meet one person from your house. Like people have been going on dates to parks. I've never seen parks so fucking busy.
I love the way that people are sitting together and like they don't look related. There's no people in England don't know what 2 meters is anyway.
I mean,
just call it 6 foot.
Didn't inform anything. They didn't.
No.
Like I'm not being horrible. Like my brother's in America, and I was like, you know, they were a bit like that, because American police officers are not anyone that you want to fuck with. Like they are fucked. Like our policemen, it's like, oh my god, like they're almost laughable in comparison. So I feel like there's no fear, so no one cares.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, no guns, which is good but bad.
There is good and bad, but like I've seen police officers there, and they're really not the people that you can just have a joke with. Like I've honestly got myself in trouble a few times in that sort of situation. I'm English.
British sense of humour, yeah, exactly. That's because, in my experience, a lot of Americans don't understand sarcasm.
No, they don't.
And we're very sarcastic.
I have an English dad, so they're like, they do get it. Like one of them has just started watching Love Island. He's like, dude, oh my god. I'm like, you know, those of people from Love Island died. Like he comes up, was like, I can't believe Caroline Fleck. And I'm like, oh my god. He's on like season 4. He's watched 4 seasons of Love Island in the last 3 weeks.
His brain must just literally be dying.
I'm really upset that Love Island isn't going to be on this year. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like,
I do not watch that shit.
It's so entertaining. It really is. Like, it makes me feel good about my love life when I watch.
Just makes me feel normal.
Feel like I'm like, do you think like 30-year-olds could go on there? My friend's like, no, it'd be boring. They'd all be settling down. Like,
I don't know. You get a kind of second wind to just want to play the field.
They should do it an older adult Love Island. I'd pay to see.
I think it'll be worse than the younger one, to be honest. Well, thank you so much. It will actually cut us off now in 2 minutes. But I'm going to upload this to my IGTV, and I'll do a story that will tag you in it so that your followers can see as well. And it'll be on my YouTube.
Thank you. It's been
Thank you. Yeah. Enjoy the bank holiday. And thank you to everyone that listened to us waffle on.
I mean, we had a good 10 people staying here the whole time.
We did.
That was.
Lots of love.
See you later.